And when I tell you, like, it takes a lot of courage to come and tell a professor that you're not doing well. It takes a lot of courage to come and tell a professor that, like, not only are you not doing well in their class, you're also not doing well in all of your classes. And when he came up to me and told me that, like, honestly, like, this is not the first time I've heard a student say that they've been failing the entire semester. But I will say this: it's not many students where they would come to me and be like, I'm failing all my classes and I need your help. Like, out of all his professors that he could have went to, out of all the people that he could have talked with on the campus, he chose to talk with me. And so we scheduled a meeting to talk about, like, just how does he stay organized. He didn't have an organization system. And so I was like, all right, well, let's put that together for you. And I really helped him, like, put together his calendar, put it all into his calendar, his schedule, all into his phone. He did say that he's a planner type of person, but he didn't have a planner. And so I'm like, all right, well, that's not gonna help you in this situation. And so he got a chance to work with me and got a chance to be able to, like, see his schedule from a full, like a 600 feet level. And when we first started our scheduling process, he was more focused on just classes. But I'm like, you got to study. Not only do you study, you got travel time to class. You got travel time in between classes, right? Do you have a job? Do you like to work out? Do you like to eat? Right? All of these things play a role in your schedule. Even he has a girlfriend, right? Or he has a significant other. And that plays a role in your schedule, right? There's also leisure time. And so there's a time where you just like, I'm chilling. You need to put that into your schedule. And so we did all of that. And after we did all of that, oh my gosh, like, I'm starting to see him show up, be clear on what is expected of him. Right? I see him connecting and understanding exactly the work that we're doing. He doesn't feel lost in the work that we are in right now. And so it was just like an eye-opening experience to know that, like, yeah, this semester might not have went as great as he wanted it to go. But as long as he finishes strong, he won't fail. And so that's what I want to say for you. Like, this year might not have been the year that you wanted. This semester, this marking period, if you're in, middle school, high school. And I need you to know that it's not always about how you start, it's about how you finish. And so if you finish strong, then you're able to actually connect in a way that shows that you actually care about the space that you're in. You care about the work that you're doing. You care about the people that you're around. I ain't gonna front, like, a part of me was about to just write them off. There's a couple students who they just stopped coming to class. And this happens every semester, so it's normal for me. But when I have a student who shows up sparsely, but still showing interest, still getting some of the assignments done, just might not be as, thorough as other students, that's letting me know that he's still trying. And so for some of you, like, all you gotta do is might not be your best work right now, but you just gotta keep trying. Like, I could be real and honest in saying, like, this year for me hasn't been the best year. Lots of partnerships ended that really helped me flourish in the support of my family. And I had to retool, I had to refocus. But a lot of it also was like being patient, being patient on the people who said that they were willing to help, and knowing that, like, since it's not business as usual for them, even though it is for me, I have to be clear on, like, this is a learning process for both of us. And so we're going to have some bumps. We're going to have some spaces where we got to figure this thing out. And that is okay. What's not okay is giving up, right? What's not okay is holding true to our word. And so many times what we do is we create these opportunities to be committed to, but then when things get a little hard, they don't go as we expect it to go, then we just want to give up, we want to quit. And that's where the magic really happens, is when you work through the conflict, when you work through the controversy. And so for me, I'm thankful, right? Like bringing on new partners, helping them learn the way that I work, helping them learn the systems that I'm operating in. It's been helping us create a clear vision for 2025. And I'm gonna be real, like I am all about clarity in this next phase of life. And so I'm gonna be sharing a lot more stories about my past life to help you understand of why I'm doing what I'm doing with who I'm doing it with as it relates to the future. I care deeply about student success. One of the reasons why I super care is because I was that student that didn't start strong. Right? I was that student that didn't do well in middle school and the 8th grade. I didn't do superb in high school. I got into college by the grace and mercy of God, right, to give me scholarships to be able to make it in this journey. Like I wasn't blessed academically, but what I knew that I always had in me was determination. Like I am the type of person that once I decided to stop giving up on things, because I used to be that kind of kid that I would start a sport, and if I didn't like the coaches, if I didn't like how they talked to me, if I didn't like the players, if I didn't get the time that I felt like I deserved, I would just quit. And so I stopped doing that. And once I stopped doing that, it became a part of who I am. Like I don't want to give up on what I believe is my promise. Something that I believe that is for me, whatever that is. It could be something physical. It could be something like you can't touch, like your self-esteem, like building self-confidence, like believing in yourself. And so for me, my promise was believing in myself, believing that I had all that I needed to be successful at the thing, as long as I didn't give up, as long as I finished strong. And so I want to hit you with 3 things to get you to think deeper about how you can finish strong in the next month, right? So 1, you got to reflect on your progress. A lot of times what we do is we say, oh, well, since the year didn't finish how we wanted, that we didn't accomplish what we wanted. And that's actually not as true as you think it is. Like with my students, even my student, for example, he had a real chance to just give up, right? He had a real chance to just not do anything else. But he decided that this was important for him, and that all the milestones that he got to high school graduation, right? Because he's a freshman. Yeah, he got through the summer at a summer job, had an amazing experience. And he just tripped up when he started college because, again, it's not like high school. It's very different. You are responsible for your success. You are literally responsible. Like nobody's going to get you out of bed. Nobody's going to set your alarm. Nobody's going to tell you when to eat, when not to eat. Nobody's going to tell you when to go to class and when not to go to class. Like your professor has a schedule. They post a schedule. That's the schedule. You have every responsibility to follow it. And so he could have just been like, all right, I started this thing strong, weak. I'm just going to give up. But the reality is, like, he actually started this thing, and that's even more than what a lot of people do. A lot of people don't even start. Right? And so you got to give yourself permission to be okay with the progress that you have made. And even though your progress might not necessarily been to the level of success that you wanted it, you got to realize that the testimony that you get behind those type of experiences is always worth it. Right? It's always worth it. And so I want to make sure that I remind you that it's critical that you stay in the process, right? And acknowledge your progress. Here's the next thing I want you to think about, right? And so, like, The next thing I want you to set micro goals. Right? I want you to set micro goals. And so, what is it that you can do between now and the end of the month to finish strong? Whether that's like, so for me, like I'm trying to finish this book, and so before I go on vacation, and so that means that I either have to read a chapter every 2 days in order to finish this book to get it done before I go on vacation. And so my goal tonight is to read some pages, then I'll read some pages tomorrow to finish the chapter up. Like, that's how you break this thing into goals. And so if your goal, you might not be able to raise your GPA to a certain level in 1 month, right? But you might be able to raise a grade, right? And so what would you need to do to study for that exam so that you get a perfect score on that exam, right? Do you need to break it into, all right, I'm going to study 2 hours a day for the next 10 days so that I can be ready for that exam, right? Like, I need you to think about it in that way. Like, for you, whatever that is, like, I need you to think about it in a way that, like, how do you see the big goal and then break it into smaller pieces that's actually achievable? Like, so I know that I'm a procrastinator. And so if I wait until next week, I'll never pick up the book. Like, I have it literally set where I can finish the rest of this book before I go on vacation, which is the 19th. And so I can literally get that done as long as I stick to my schedule. But if I get beyond the schedule, I just like give up, and then I try to cram it all that I can into the last couple of days. And that's not smart, right? And so for you, like, I want you to think deeper about your experience. Like, what is it about your planning that you would like to see move forward, and make sure that you make that happen, right? And so I want to definitely make sure that you're setting micro goals. And like, when you're setting goals, you got to make it achievable. Like, be realistic with yourself. Like, a lot of times what we do is we don't be realistic with what we believe we're doing, right? Where we believe we're going. And I need you to know, like, you are in a position where you could literally change your entire quarter by putting forth a little extra organization and effort in this last month. And so make sure that you do that, right? The last thing I'm going to leave you with is I want you to, let me check my notes real quick. Okay, so the last thing I want you to do is I want you to be resilient, right? As you open the door up to 2025, I want you to see how determined you've been in 2024. I want you to see how much you've overcame in 2024. And I want you to be okay with the outcomes that has come with your 2024, so that you can open the doors to 2025 knowing that you have all that you need to be successful. Like, it's been a journey for me. I can't say that enough about 2024. And in a lot of ways, like, I don't want to forget 2024. At the same time, 2024 has committed me to this, has committed me to having deeper relationships with my friends, with my family, with my wife, and my faith. 2024 has taught me so much, y'all. Like, I was working with high school students in Northwestern, and the first group of students was just like fired. It feels hard to hear that from 14 to 17-year-olds, right? And my fault, right? I take full responsibility. I wasn't focused. I needed to be focused on my job, right? I was new, so I thought that I needed to overcompensate. And I realized I didn't. You know, they had everything that they needed to be successful, and so did I. And I left that thing with hugs and tears from high school students from across the globe. We were able to mend, right? And that's the resilience. Part of me could have just been like, all right, yo, this ain't for me. I give up. I can't do this. But then I had to ask myself, like, I didn't get into this work so that I can be perfect every time, right? Like, I got into this work because I believe that there's purpose behind the stories that I have that God has given me. And I need to share those. And part of sharing it is really like open the world to students to get them to see that they can achieve too, even through adversity, even through hardships, right? Even through grief, depression, anxiety, all the things that we feel like stop us and hold us down sometimes. And so I needed that. I needed that to help me see how resistant and resilient I am. And so for you, the hardships are literally opportunities for you to see how resilient and resistant you are. The conflict is just for you to show the situations and topics that you need to create boundaries around, you need to move away from, right? Or that you believe that you can actually engage with civility, right? You can engage in civil discourse through this conflict because you know that you have everything that you need to be successful through that situation, right? Conflict is just a measuring stick for our resilience. And so what we need is our abilities to be able to understand that, right? Understand that it all has purpose in our future and move accordingly. That's the goal. That's the vision. That's the dream, y'all. And so as I wrap this thing up, I want to make sure I got any any support, right? Any questions on the live on Instagram. I feel like my Instagram kind of froze up. I hope it ain't just froze up for y'all, but it looked like that for me. But I just need you to know, like, you will be successful as you want to be in 2025. Right? You are doing all the work to set yourself up to have an amazing 2025. Right? And when your 2025 gets here, I don't want you to look back on 2024 and have regrets. Right? Everything that happened for a reason, and it's only going to make you better, especially if you're pursuing your greatness. Right? So keep pursuing the thing that makes you you. Keep pursuing the thing that makes you smile, that gives you joy. Keep doing it. Because I'll be honest, I talked about this in the last live about gratitude, right? As we opened it up for Thanksgiving. All my problems went away when I started speaking. All my problems went away when I started teaching. And so all you need is to be in that space where hours feel like minutes. And you will find all the success that you desire, that you hope for. But you got to remember, right? It's all about operating through a lens of our strengths, right? We did final presentations. I know I keep saying I'm gonna wrap this up, but this is so good. Like we did final presentations with my students, and one of the biggest things that they talk about was not focusing so hard on their weaknesses that they don't even remember or forget or don't even operate within their strengths. As humans, that's one of the things that we have a hard time. We don't want to be cocky. We don't want to be overconfident. But the reality is, like, your strengths is the best part of you. Your strengths are like the thing that make people love you, that make people want to be around you, that make people want to connect with you. And so why leave behind the thing that makes you so special? I want to make sure that you use 2025 to dive deeper into that. All right, y'all. Again, this has been another Monday Momentum where I share a good word with you to start your week off right. Today, we talked about finishing the year off strong and having a successful 2025. And so I'm appreciative of you. I love you. I'm thankful for you. I want to see you be your best. And always keep doing the good work.